you're live.
Okay.
But Anthony can see you. So, give me a countdown again?
A little less confusing this time?
A little less confusing. When you're
Okay.
ready, give me a countdown. Well, I'm not sure.
You guys ready over there?
Ready over here.
3, 2, 1, go. Take 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mega Man X4, the Lastsincommited, running the game. I'm Infinite Mystery, and I'll try to provide some kind of commentary for it. We will be Lastsincommited. We'll be doing 0-100%, 0-100%. So we have the Sky Lagoon intro series. Not much to see here besides this huge Mecha Dragon flying in the background. He's not a threat. Unless you just can't get that door open. What you're going to be seeing a lot during the run is SEC. Flashback smoke. They blew up, Reptile Force agents blew up the area. You see Magma Dragoon, which we will see a bit later. But we don't know that.
He'll have an announcement.
That he will. As you can see, the carnage and destruction that's been caused. Some of these blocks, this area is pretty much a construction site zone. You see Iris needs saving.
Most of the time you're going to see her in this exact same position.
And here's our friendly Mecha Dragon that we saw earlier.
Wait for 30 seconds. That's what his name is. Wait for 30 seconds.
Much more menacing than Mega Man 2. Maybe.
Mega Man 2 had this boss. Maybe X2.
No, he's not menacing at all. A couple of slashes or X-Buster shots will take care of him very easily.
This is 0. He doesn't have a buster.
Exactly. I'm saying if you were X.
It was cut off after 3.
Colonel arrives to save Iris to find out that Zero did so. Gets asked to disarm. Gets asked for Reptile Force to disarm, but they can't do it due to a mysterious force.
Since this is supposed to be a speed run, I can't afford to let them talk or have a movie of their own.
So first up is Magma Dragoon.
Weird. Having some trouble there?
No. So each of the 8 Maverick stages have 2 parts to them. That's not too much of the first area of the volcano. A couple of bats with missiles dropping on your head. Some mechs with some armor that's still useless. And various lava coming from all directions.
Consultant for me and call flip top.
That could work.
So what happens after Eddie was basically erased from the game series?
Now for the volcano area 2, we will be getting our first heart piece. And since there's a heart piece in every stage, most of them are not difficult to find.
I it's like 4 heartbeats to make a hole.
It's very fortunate that you don't have to actually come back later to get the heart piece. Although Zero will gain a double jump later. Fortunately, with the ride armor, you can take a bit of damage before it will just fully explode.
Come on, no all Hadokens.
And Magma Dragoon, aka Akuma. Plenty of dive kicks, plenty of fireballs, and then an uppercut. There you go. Wow.
I did that on purpose. This is the RNG I was talking about last night. Watched him do the fire breath thing almost immediately.
Which will make being able to get rid of Magma Dragoon faster since he'll be able to just SDC him. Much better. So you will be seeing the SDC done on just about pretty much every boss throughout the whole of the game. One map down.
One Street Fighter reject dead.
That too.
They decided to recreate the scene with Zero from X1 when he died in the end, fighting Evile. Except this time it was a guy that looks like a dragon, but it didn't.
So now Zero gains the uppercut that Magma Dragoon had with his sword. Next up is Cyber Peacock.
Buck says I accidentally took the Robot Master at one point.
So for Cyberspace Area 1, there are areas, these small areas that you have to actually pass through with a rank of S in order to gain items at the end. Anything less.
And you don't get anything.
Right. In Zero's case, the items you'll get for S rank will be the heart piece, energy tank, and a 1-up.
First room for X would be the capsule.
Capsule, right. The troublesome area might be the third one for most people, especially if you don't have the spin slash, which in this particular route being taken, he won't see until later. The spin slash actually helps get rid of those orange orbs easier. But even without it, it's not too much trouble with a good damage boost.
Can't reset anymore. Hit the point of no return.
So cyberspace
Don't hit
area.
the power strip again.
So cyberspace area 2 is not that is about different from area 1.
Walks around. This is like an inverted space area. Yeah, like that game. But should we play tomorrow? Or what's that? Streamers. No, streamers. Damn it. 1 second. Apparently to break invisible purple bricks, you need a giant ball.
Game stages a lot of the stages are very short.
He's happy. Remember, every time you enter a door, you could do that too. The big difference between these boss fights is in the Japanese version, the bosses actually talk as well as text. And I kind of enjoy their voices because it's just really weird.
The Flame Sword will get rid of Cyber Peacock instantly, while any other attack, he'll just stay wherever he is and do some kind of attack. If he's on the ground, the feathers on his back extend. If he's in the air, as you see, but didn't get to see, a missile will just follow you around for a bit.
You got to see the missile. I'm going to try to remember to skip the talking after this.
The lightning attack is what you're getting from Cyber Peacock, right?
Nope.
No.
The Giga attack. There you go. Skip the talking. Wish I could press triangle just to skip the whole saving thing.
Yeah. So next up is Storm Owl.
At least in my way. Normal way you would go to split mushroom first.
Storm Owl has an interesting stage. So you gain access to this very slow ride armor.
I call it the infinite health suit.
Gain the heart piece. It has better mobility than if you were trying to use it to fire at enemies, but it's not worth trying.
I'm wondering why it's damage because of the heart piece that's health increase. I forgot it. Maybe mushroom first. So actually doing a double jump is not necessary here.
Yeah.
Trip over a cable.
Air Force 2, Area 2 is basically just the inside of a large ship. Still not much to it unless you were X and you need to go above this area using web spider. Yeah, web spider mushroom. I know. Good pattern.
That's one of the reasons why I don't do mushroom first, because I don't want that spin dash there, because it actually takes longer to get across and it won't hit the eye at exactly the right point. At least for me anyway.
So one of the more unique attacks for Zero, pretty much ever, instead of using his sword to hit Storm Owl, because it does barely any damage, and STC is just not really a possibility.
That would probably be like 30 seconds if STC was possible. Or less than that, like 10 seconds. And as you take damage, it refills your weapon energy for your weapon anyway.
And the closer you are to the enemy, the more damage it does. If Storm Owl were a bit far away, wow.
Wow, okay.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Stay there.
If Storm Owl were way up in the air when the explosion hit, it barely does damage.
3 down, 5 to go.
And this attack you obtain is which?
This one is the purple saber.
Never understood what was the usage.
It adds more damage.
Even though you can't really see it.
That's an understatement. After this boss fight, we'll go and see Colonel lose.
And next up is Split Mushroom, aka Gemini Man in Maverick form.
This guy is high on himself.
So we go up the infinite steps.
I'm purposely taking damage here. I'm not trying to skip these things. That part container from the beginning is going to be right here. No, I didn't take enough damage, so it's not going to be. Maybe in the next section.
If you were to play X5, you'll see the same setup with the steps in another Maverick stage. Heavily reused. There's not much to Split Mushroom stage at all.
Usually that guy doesn't get
I've seen it happen, but it's not common at all. Ooh. And you survive the hit.
That works.
Thank goodness the game usually realizes when you're low on health. Usually you'll get a really good drop.
Thank goodness I'm more awake than last night and didn't walk off that ledge.
And that's always a plus. So you have numerous ways to beat this particular mini boss. If he did Web Spider early, he would have access to a Thunder Sword, I believe, right? That would... Phew. Thank goodness for the iframe. If Web Spider had been done earlier, then he would have access to a Lightning Sword that sticks straight out. So as the mini boss rises up, you can get a ton of hits at once.
Okay, now everything's really off. Take one hit. Okay, I don't care. Go.
So here we have another piece of the heart. And quite the awkward location, but you can easily get it. The worst part about that last area is those floating spikes those floating spike items that are in the air. If they actually do land on you, yeah. And if you're actually fortunate enough to survive, you will have lost a lot of health. There's not much to this so-called platform.
This is the slowest part of the game.
Yeah.
Walk here, I'll walk.
No.
From here, this is about it. This is the end. And now we're out. Boss fight is right above me.
For some reason, you can't cling at all to those greenish walls. So you have to unfortunately wait until you get to the end of it. But also, if you're fast enough, you can actually skip the transition. Split Mushroom has quite a unique clone attack.
Yeah, he throws himself in more.
You'll probably see the weakness for him much later in the refights. So this is a rare treat to see Split Mushroom actually attacking.
And believe me, that fight is not easy when you're trying to learn this game. It's easier learning Goonies too.
We won't talk about that game. X gets the soul body, but Zero gets which sword attack from this?
He gets the spin slash.
Ah, okay, the useful. Good.
Yeah, because the only thing that represents a mushroom is spinning in circles with a lightsaber. Nope.
So Zero has to fight the
No, it didn't happen.
Yeah, nothing happened. But X actually has to fight him twice.
Just like Iris, it's not going to happen. I'm going to fight her and that's it. You don't know what happens after. If I could skip the final movie, I would.
And now he had probably the most annoying stage.
This is when they thought auto scrollers were a good idea.
Those were the before times.
Must remember the heart tank. Must remember the heart tank.
Yes. Do not forget that heart tank.
I'm not gonna speed up so I miss it.
Yes, you can actually speed up while you're on this particular ride chaser, but
I wanna be safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So in the ride chaser, there's not much to deal with except blowing up a couple of barriers, a couple of collapsing bridges, and some pits to jump over.
And Zero has a black one, and X gets a red one. I don't know why Zero doesn't get a red one and X gets a blue one. Considering that X2 had blue ride chasers.
That ride stage mechanic also returns in X5, but it's shorter, but it's much worse. And
Now we get to see the boss flying around. And here it goes.
in this particular area, Jet Stingray is actually around to torment you. So between that and all the other obstacles and enemies, you might.
Burn with fire.
You can actually get rid of Jet Stingray in this area quicker by just dashing into him.
Alright, I grabbed it. I was debating on whether I just wanted to stay there and die.
Nah. Unfortunately, Lastsincommited was able to get the W tank. I mean, not
No,
the W
this is the
tank,
E-tank.
the E tank. Sorry.
W tanks the Frost Kibatotos.
Right.
Weapon energy. And surprisingly, it's so useful in Zero considering he only has one weapon that uses weapon energy.
Yeah. It would benefit X a bit more, but only until X gets his armor for this game.
What I'm going to try to do is get this guy down to half health and use the SDC to kill him. And I want to kill that other thing. Let's hope he does it. Yes, he did. Done.
Jet Stingray's actual weakness is Frost Wars dive attack, but it's very slow because as soon as you freeze him,
Goes up.
yeah.
So if you really want to think about X being faster or slower, that kind of says he's slower, in my opinion. Because you have to use Ice as X.
Yeah. Because that fight is a lot more dangerous.
Unless you're doing the ultimate armor run. Then you can just do Giga Crash, whatever it is, Nova Strike.
And next up we have Sonic the Hedgehog, Slash Beast.
Leo.
Yeah. You'll see the reason why for the Sonic reference later on.
Well, I think this is how they got Sonic Unleashed.
You know, that I could see that.
He was a prototype warehouse.
So in this stage, you're on the Repro Force train. There's some areas where, as you can see, that robot is destroying to keep Zero from advancing.
Yeah, apparently, in this situation, robots in life don't mean much. As you can see, they make such an effort to stay alive.
As you can see, there's a couple of regular boxes you can slash, and there's some other boxes that you can't slash unless you have another ride armor that you'll see in the second area.
I'm also trying to build up energy, so I have a safety sub-tank later.
And you will be seeing plenty of those laser cannons later on.
And here we go. This is what all trains come equipped with. Security spikes.
I could use one of those. So you could just use anything to get rid of the first portion of Repro Force's security train.
I brought down the Amtrak security system.
But now you have to go to the second area for the military train. which isn't all that more secure.
Actually, it's less secure. If you have the ride armor, you can blow up the cars themselves.
Yes. And obtain one more extra heart piece.
For some reason, I always think it's that one before I get the ride armor.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I'm in the ride armor now. I'm SWAT everything. Blood tank.
Yeah.
Other ride armor. Doesn't matter either. You stay down there.
It's a shame you only get the chance to use this particular ride armor for a short while, because right about here you won't be able to use it anymore, simply because you can't jump over the certain wall. You finish the rest of the stage on the broken track while jumping over a few pits, a couple of those bats with the missiles.
If he follows me, he'll be very depressed.
Nah, when does that ever happen?
I don't know. Look at Mega Man 3 last night. When did that ever happen?
True.
All the green, the blue, and the red that I caused.
So we have just one lone box here. Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's trying to show dominance.
You would think of a Maverick as that fast, he'd be impossible to beat. But unfortunately, Slash Beast doesn't use that natural speed to his advantage. Even from the previous adventure, Overdrive Ostrich used speed to his advantage to an extent. A lot of the time, if you're lucky, especially at Zero, Slash Beast will just try to dive on top of you. Just does a random roar and you can just SCC him to death.
Doesn't matter. If he gives up and dies on his own, then I'm happy. That ain't gonna happen though.
If you were playing as X, that's interesting.
This is your favorite move.
Nah.
As you called it, the most useless move in the game.
Oh yeah, that.
Finally, Frost Kiba Todos.
Right.
This is an interesting stage. Considering how much ice you have to break, this is probably the longest of all the 8 Mavericks.
It's those stupid birds.
And if you look around for a moment, there's actually a lot of various ice sculptures for the other various Mavericks.
Blizzard Buffalo's in here from 3. He was frozen in time.
You'll see various platforms somehow form.
I feel Inafune and his team said, we're going to leave Blizzard Buffalo in here as an example for anybody who actually loves a playable character or a Maverick. They're going to die. Okay, that's the weapon energy tank.
For X to get up there easier, he needs web spiders. Weapon.
Whatever.
Yeah, this particular area.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But in this particular area, if you stand on the platform long enough, whoa, nice save. What a clutch save.
Thanks for hitting that power strip earlier, Yell. The RNG got better.
Yeah, we did it.
Wow. For those platforms that he almost fell to his death on, if you're near the top, if you're near the very edge of the ceiling, you actually can get crushed. And you actually now for snow-based area 2, you're treated to different music, much more calm. Actually,
yeah, that move that you love really wants to work right now.
Yep. It might be a good thing if it doesn't.
Got it.
In this area, there's a lot of mets and a couple of bombs and a couple of other various enemies stored in ice. But we also have the other
Oh wait, that was the equalizer I got back there for the energy. This is the weapon energy thing over here.
Yeah, I never knew exactly what it was supposed to be for.
There we go. That's cool.
Whatever the equalizer was supposed to be for.
Well, it's supposed to be for if you got like weapon energy and energy, no matter what it is, it'll divert it to what's needed, like the sub tank or the weapon energy.
Oh, I never knew that.
I discovered it when I was playing one day that collecting weapon energy was giving me energy in the sub tank. So I thought it was weird.
I guess that'll be interesting to know for more X runs. But since X was semi-needed before he gets access to his full armor.
It might help you slightly in your triple M.
Maybe.
Save you 5 seconds.
Maybe.
48 hours.
Yeah. So Frost Wars just being a bit more angrier than Blizzard Buffalo.
Technically, this is just another take on that guy from Mega Man 8, the Frostman or whatever. They just give him knuckles and teeth. That was good.
And he barely attacks much more than Blizzard Buffalo.
Yeah, and I was trying to freeze you with the ice breath.
The fight would be just slightly a bit more dangerous if you didn't have Magma Jackoon's uppercut.
I wanted to do it like last night when the thing was in my body as I killed him and they both negated each other.
So from this particular boss, we get which weapon is this?
This is that one that we needed for Jet Stingray.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But we'll use it on Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. And next and last up, I believe, is Web Spider.
Yep, the guy you do second. Or as
Interesting.
in Japan, Web Spindel.
Interesting order here.
You know, this guy technically reminds me of that arachnoid guy from Beast Wars, the Transformers thing. Arachnos or whatever his name was.
So the jungle area 1, actually the entire jungle in its entirety is not that hard of a stage. It might be a great first stage, especially if you're just starting to learn the game. If you're looking for one of the body parts for X, before you come down, there's actually a hidden path to the right. Other than that, there's not too much to say about the jungle.
It could be better. That's what I say about the jungle.
The jungle might be a bit harder, if depending on your difficulty, but
There's only one difficulty.
yeah, then only if you're trying to do low percent, then this would actually be a bit more dangerous. So Zero will obtain his last heart piece here, hidden in the bark, which the only way you can get it is with the flame sword. Nice dash.
Yeah, for some reason that won't work here unless you actually like jump then dash. Shortcut. And I just get that so I can do that. His damage doesn't matter to Web Spider because he doesn't do enough damage to actually do anything to it.
Only if
Look
you
at my hair.
only if you get caught in maybe about 3 of the webs.
And we're shooting for 3 hits per cycle.
Make a ram extra.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You gotta make sure that it matches what's
Web Spider's attacks. The worst attack you have to worry about is
Wow, okay.
Wow. That's interesting.
I've been playing this game for years now, and I've never seen that pattern.
Me neither. The worst attack is if the web actually catches you.
Whatever. He was good enough. Down him 3 times. Now he's gonna come down and do his magic web of doom.
Which usually occurs at half health, but since you actually have the weakness for Web Spider, a bit more damage was done. Yeah. Which is just a sword being a different color.
I stopped caring about taking damage already. Really? Okay, go away. That was a weird pattern.
I've never seen him just go away. At least not the first.
He never sits up top either.
I've seen him up top, but I can't remember how long it's been.
Really long. It's like one of his really unusual patterns.
Yeah.
Some jerk asses needed special hardware setup, so we had to keep ourselves in those.
Now you get Rising Gatekeep. Your lightning weapon.
So for basically that lightning weapon will only be seen against in the refights. So now
You'll get the ice weapon.
yeah. So now we go to the spaceport to fight the Colonel.
Or as I like to call it, this is the test of how well you can jump.
You basically see a lot of bomber robots basically just try to interrupt by throwing a grenade while you're jumping over some of those hits.
Nope, stay away. Go away.
Like that, and they're placed in particularly interesting areas. It's not much to the spaceport.
Yeah, that
I haven't seen that happen ever.
spinning spike things can climb ladders. Okay, now it's going to be the death of Colonel Sanders. After this is when KFC really becomes big.
Random.
Show me what you've got.
So now the weapon that you'll be using against the Colonel will be the Ice Slash.
Disappear, reappear, get hit again, flashes.
Let's see if the Colonel will actually do his lightning attack. Once he appears, if he appears in the center, he might have a
Wow,
chance.
that was delayed. That's never happened. Hey. Oh, here's the energy breaker.
Yep.
There we go. He had one good move.
So now, unfortunately, with the Colonel gone, Iris, who actually looked up to her brother, and Zero, will end up disappearing.
Very rare.
Yeah, she takes this magic purple diamond energy gem thing and becomes evil. You know, technically with the death of Colonel, that should have been the end of the Star Wars Force Effect lightsabers.
We'll have to discuss that later. So now Zero now he's in space, right?
He was in space before.
Right. Well, yeah, that was a
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
Okay, that should go away.
So this area is basically a 2 or 3-parter.
This is a 2-boss stage.
Hi, Iris.
Forgive me, Zero.
I mean, that frame rate.
Bet it's that.
We'd go dark though. That would be a
No, it's like a second. We just let everyone in the chat. No, that's all. That's a good contender.
problem.
Do it.
Rats.
That one's the one that never plays. So apparently after I'm done with this run, this game's gonna catch on fire.
So after we hit Iris a couple of times, this small purple gem comes out, which is the source of whatever this suit power is. However, she managed to get it, and it's the only way you can actually do any damage to her. Other than that, she's invulnerable somehow, for some reason. You would think the rest of Repli Force would have actually used it.
Oh wow, okay. Up and triangle really doesn't work sometimes.
Bye, Iris. We will miss you.
I'm gonna probably get one of those sloth general fights. Up, it's a very important movie. It's over.
So long, Iris.
Now remember, we never fought her when we were at the beginning. She stayed dead. End of story.
That movie will have to stick. So in this area, there are two. You have access to two paths you can take. Oh.
No, that'll always happen.
It's one of the reasons why I'm glad I don't take this path, mainly because of that one dash. Nice.
The
Thank
funny
goodness.
part is that filled up my health back to normal and finished off all my sub tanks.
If you were to take the top path
He
that,
doesn't like this fight.
if you would have taken the top path, there was just a couple of more lasers and some spikes.
Lots of spikes. Now we fight in general.
Now let's see how bad of a RNG you might get for the general.
I'm gonna get one fist and all the flying patterns.
Sounds about right.
Well, this is good right here. Now I want to keep them over here.
So the only way to hit the general is in his head. Normally, all you'd have to do is a single slash for damage, but in order to avoid taking some of the hits, you would use
I
the
told you.
yeah. In order to avoid taking some of the hits while you're on the fist, you'd use the explosion weapon.
This is the usual in general RNG. Oh, good. We got another pattern.
It was happen eventually. And honestly, the worst thing General can do is dash across the screen at least 5 times. If you're X, the fight is much worse.
Okay, final stretch.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Gotta fight that stupid dragon again.
You can't really see it on the screen. I mean, we could make it.
So now you're probably wondering, well, we defeated Iris, the General, and the Colonel, so what's left for us? Refights.
This is where Sigma got smart and finally took their voice boxes away so they couldn't talk anymore.
So now for all the refights, we'll see the majority of the various weaknesses that you may not have seen before.
Really? They know how to, show the
Of course, with Magma Dragoon, we'll still be using the SDC. In SDC to against any of the bosses when possible.
Remember, with 1 foot, you can stand above lava.
Zero's had quite the stroke of luck today.
No, I mean,
He's also got 1 heavy foot.
this one died, and this one needed to be reimaged.
That is also the only area with an actual stage.
Unfortunately, if the character needs any energy, weapon energy, or life energy after the fight, which is usually the standard.
A little more than a quarter from each one of those energy things you get back. Wow, okay. That's another weird one about Spider. He never comes down that low.
I'm more used to seeing Web Slider come low than the high one from earlier.
There he goes, he's escaping guns. Here he comes with his web.
I even wonder if it's just based on because it's the version you're using. Because now that I think about it, it never happens in the X collection that I use.
Okay, Trader. Doing crack attack with your X selections. I'm proud that he actually got a real disc this past year. At least for X5. I don't know about anything else.
There's not much to say about the refights as we've seen the fights before.
I'm not watching the stream at all. Wow, that worked out great. Up again. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if I smash a computer if that'll happen.
It'd be really good for decision making.
For Jet Stingray, there's still no reason to use the ice weapon as Zero. If Jet Stingray were alive long enough, you'll actually just see a different color of Stingray show up when he's under half health. Nice.
It's very finicky when he gets to half health, whether he actually comes down or not.
Yeah.
Or if he's not coming down at all. Time for the dual personality mushroom again. Let's just not try to do the battle like the first time, like I did last night. That was pointless.
So maybe now, maybe now since you actually have the lightning, will we actually see it?
He also switches sides this time. He'll probably end up on the left side first. Yep. In the other battle, you come in on the right, so he jumps to the right.
It looks like we will not be using the lightning as a weakness.
No, we won't.
Okay.
No
So you
way.
hit split mushroom with the lightning 3 times, and he gets quite the shock. Poor Gemini. Oh, I mean split mushroom.
I wonder if they should rename his move to the split personality special.
Considering X's weakness name for the soul body, it could work.
We'll be safe here. Because I have to fight the slash idiot.
Yeah, no, I saw. That's why I said it to you in particular. I submitted.
Let's see if Slash Beast gives better RNG than before.
A little bit better. Well, I canceled out of that move. No, come back. Go
I'm
away.
actually surprised Slash Beast gave you the claw up close.
That was actually a good thing in a way. Because I may have taken a hit in health, but it ended the fight a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Because all I got is 2 left, Walrus and Storm Owl. And I really don't have to worry about either of them.
Nope.
Unless I want to recharge my energy in Owl. And after the movie from Sigma, all my energy gets refilled anyway.
Exactly.
Anyway.
run out of schedule.
Don't look at me like that.
So Frost Wars is back to basically do nothing. Go across the screen. Use a bit of ice.
Become a human torch. A robotic torch. And up we go.
His ice weapon really isn't a threat unless it actually lands on you.
Up and out.
Now for one last Maverick. Storm Owl, the failed Storm Eagle. I was wondering when he was going to dive down.
Okay, that never happened before. Usually, even if he throws those things, he stays.
Yeah.
So it's gonna play on.
But there's a Twitch channel.
So now with the maps gone completely, now we head to the last portion of the game. Hey, look, it's the Grim Reaper. Hi, Sigma.
That was a short movie.
Yep.
The name of the store at which the speedrun showcase takes place is Next Level Video.
So we'll be seeing 3 forms of Sigma now.
Are you ready for your final journey?
Grim Reaper Sigma weakness is the Flame Sword. The first 2 times you can hit him without resistance, but you have to hit him quickly. The 3rd time he'll dash.
This is the easiest boss fight in the game.
If you hit him quickly with the weakness. If you don't, well, it becomes quite a pain.
1, 2, and repeat.
Oh, there you go.
Go it.
Nice dodge.
Surprised I didn't learn how to do that.
I honestly forgot just how many of those electric orbs come out.
Well, I haven't had a problem like that in a very long time. Just like usual, Sigma has to talk during every segment.
So now with the second form, while Sigma really doesn't have that much of a weakness, except for the electric. I mean, with the all you basically want to make Sigma do is just throw his staff into the wall. If Sigma doesn't throw his sickle into the wall, then it's going to be
little like sights come out of the one on the ground and hit you.
Yeah.
Let's try that move you love.
Nice.
got it.
Very nice.
Guys be looking over this. I think this is.
You don't even need that.
Normally you won't be able to grab it until the fight actually starts. So here there's a couple of phases. You have 3 different colored heads with 3 different attacks. And two different forms.
That's good already.
Yeah. The red is fire, the blue is ice, and the yellow is electric. Ooh. And depending on, he has 2 different phases for each of the forms.
Take that hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Good marathon.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't, you'd still have to use it anyway.
Man,
Okay. The ground
will be
version is
T-cycle.
destroyed.
never mind.
Okay. Oh, ah. And now both of the forms that have been destroyed.
When General falls, that's when it's time. There's one more scene after this.
Enter the door, you speak to General.
When this guy falls, it's time. There you go.
Time.
That's it. This is my extra copy. I'm going to take this outside and flush it in my car.
55-26.
Nice.
55-26.
I came in on estimate.
Underestimate. Did it?
On estimate. My estimate was 55.
Oh, we added some because of the
Cough,
technical
cough, cough,
snap.
shut up, cough, cough.
You did it!
Yay!
Considering I only practiced twice, it's great.
So, this is what happened to me.